must strive to create buildings and communities that will not deplete natural resources. The goal is to meet today's needs using renewable resources so that needs of future generations would be provided for sustainable development. We must attempt to minimize greenhouse gases, reduce global warming, preserve environmental resources, and provide communities that allow people to reach their fullest potential. Under the National Action Plan for Climate Change, the National Mission on Sustainable Habitat has been approved as one of the 8 missions by our Honorable Prime Minister in 2010. The Mission on Sustainable Habitat aims to make cities sustainable through improvements in energy efficiency, in building, management of solid waste, and model shift to public transport. This mission promotes energy efficiency as an essential module of urban planning and urban renewal. The National Urban Housing and Habitat Policy of 2007 has been formulated with affordable housing for all as a goal. This policy has been a major catalyst for improvement and effective growth of our cities. The goal of affordable housing for all, with special emphasis on EWS, LIG and MIG segments, is something we all have to strive for. The policy encourages a multi-pronged approach to tackle the problems unique to each economic segment. Jawaharlal Nehru Urban Renewal Mission, launched in December 2005, was a path-breaking initiative to address the urban sector's issues as a reform-oriented program. Nearly 1.5 million dwelling units in different parts of the country for urban poor have been sanctioned during the phase 1 of the mission, and contours of the second phase to be implemented during 12th plan are being worked out. Recognizing Rajiv Awas Yojana as a positive step in the direction of creating housing stocks in the country, McKinsey's Global Institute, in its report titled India's Urban Awakening, Building Inclusive Cities, Sustaining Economic Growth, brings out that India is capable of unleashing a wave of affordable housing stock even in a short term. Under the curative portion of the Rajiv Awas Yojana, the objective is in situ development of slums and the urban poor after conferring titles to the property. The second part of the Rajiv Awas Yojana has a wider mandate of prevention of slum proliferation through creation of affordable housing stock. Some states have initiated a slum-free states and cities campaign, and my ministry is working closely with the concerned state governments and urban local bodies to design and implement model pilot initiatives. While availability of appropriate dwelling units for the urban poor is very low due to non-visualization of this segment as an economically viable business proposition by the industry, getting the national finance to realize the dream of a decent home remains a distant dream for vast majority of poor in our society. Banks and housing finance corporations also hesitate to serve the low-income sector, informal sector, for variety of reasons such as lack of demonstrable creditworthiness, uncertain cash flows, etc. To make a dent on this mega deficit in housing sector, involvement of scheduled banks, housing financial institutions, and refinance organizations are essential. The Government of India has been providing interest subsidy for the urban poor to make it more affordable, and also providing credit risk coverage through recent initiative of Credit Risk Guarantee Fund to allay risk perception of banks and HFCs. In order to provide greater outreach for the housing schemes of the Government of India, my ministry has recently revised the income ceilings for qualifying under various schemes. Now the revised annual household income limit for the economically weaker section is enhanced to rupees 1 lakh from rupees 60,000, and for that of LIG, lower income group, it's an increase to rupees 2 lakhs from the earlier limit of rupees 1.2 lakh. Also, we propose to enhance the loan ceiling with interest subsidy for loans up to rupees 5 lakhs to enhance channelization of credit in line with the pronouncement of Honorable Prime Minister of India during the Independence Day celebrations this year. This initiative will create sufficient market for the private developers to enter the arena in a big way. We are also working for inclusion of affordable housing in the list of infrastructure to provide necessary fillip to this sector. As per the census data, There has been a net addition of 26.53 million housing units during the last decade. This has been made possible because of the positive policy environment created by the government through initiatives like priority sector lending policies, tax incentives for individuals and firms, capital and interest subsidies, allowing FDI in housing, etc. It is demonstrated by the fact that the gross credit deployment by the banks in 1997 was $1.39 billion, and last year, 2011, at current foreign exchange rate, it has increased from $1.39 billion to $666.79 billion in housing sector alone. The private sector has demonstrated also using this money its ability to create the stock to saturate the market with housing for the middle and higher income groups of the society. However, considering the quantum of housing requirement for the poor, the sector needs to play a more proactive role in taking up housing projects for the poor and the low income group with social commitments. It makes a viable business opportunity if private players focus on the economics of scale. Larger the quantity, greater will be the cost saving and better marketability. I urge the private sector to venture into this sphere in a big way. Bringing transparency in the real estate sector is another endeavor of my ministry, which will go a long way in ensuring orderly growth of this sector. We have been working for the formulation of a real estate regulation and development bill after taking inputs from all the stakeholders. Availability of sustainable homes is of prime importance for building socially inclusive cities, and the convention assumes special significance in this regard. What we need is development of convergence and synergy between various stakeholders. An inclusive and sustainable growth can manifest from a coordinated effort from all the stakeholders. There are no ready-made solutions or models to be adopted. It must emerge out of such conventions as we are having today. The efforts of NAREDCO in conceptualizing and organizing this convention are praiseworthy. I am sure some implementable and novel ideas would emerge from this convention. I extend my best wishes to all of you and look forward to your positive contribution. I can assure that my ministry will extend total support in every endeavor to further the cause of sustainable housing, which is affordable to the urban poor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ajay Makhan. I'd like to invite the Honorable President Shri Pranab Mukherjee to share his vision for housing for masses.
Good morning to all of you. Shri Ajay Makhan.